Dirt Trax is sponsored by Can-Am. We're built for this. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. And by Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
It can be a really hectic world that we live in nowadays. Never enough time, seemingly in a day, to get what you need done. Sometimes you just need to sort of step back and look to see what you're missing. Time that you're missing with your kids. Because far too often do I look at my kids and I say, where's the time gone? Like, I remember when you were just a little toddler running around here, and now, like, you know, my older daughter's 15 and it seems like she's going on to 20.
Exactly again?
Yeah, why?
Listen, do you want to go somewhere with me this afternoon?
Sure.
Okay, but one thing we got to agree to is you got to stay off your phone, I'm going to stay off my phone.
It's times like this that you really want to sort of step back and take advantage and spend some quality time with your kids. Well, I think one of the best things to do is to sort of get out into the wilderness, get out where you can't be in contact with the rest of the world, and in a way force yourself, because it's not long before you realize that you're free. You're free to do what you want, you're free to spend time with your kids, you're free to get reacquainted with them, and that's the quality time. That's the time that you'll never ever get back. And so you need to take advantage of that, and you need to take advantage of it now.
A good early morning start tomorrow. We should probably hit the sack. What do you think?
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay. Good night, babe.
Good night.
Love you.
Anyone that's seen a couple episodes of Dirt Trax familiar with my two daughters. You know, it came down to sort of like pick which one would be really best suited for a trip like this. And as I got to think about it, I got to think about not so much Kaley, but kids Kaley's age and their growing dependence on digital devices and their growing dependence on social media, their inability to turn off.
I really want to go on this trip because obviously it's a digital detox. And I've seen the screen time on my phone. It's not great. I need a couple days away from it.
One of the reasons why I wanted to take the Talon on this trip was due to me being inspired by a campaign that Honda is running titled Life is Better Side by Side. And when you think about the sport of off-road riding, this saying couldn't be more accurate. I also found it to be really motivating. I thought, you know what? If I'm going to be taking off on this trip with Kaley, and it's supposed to be a digital detox weekend, the most fitting side-by-side vehicle to take is definitely going to be the Honda Talon. Honda deserves a lot of recognition for a job exceptionally well done. When you get in the Talon, and we've said this on the show a number of times, as soon as you get in that vehicle, it just feels like quality. The terrain that you have to ride up in Kearney, a lot of it is cool, tight, twisty trails, and you get some cool technical navigation as well. So you really have the best of all worlds. And it just seemed to shine in these conditions. CVT transmissions were awesome, we love them. But I have to give Honda credit where they deserve. And they have done an amazing job with the DCT on this. In automatic mode, when you're in sport, it shifts very, very close to a CVT, and you're really not losing anything.
Compared to a lot of other side-by-sides I've noticed, this one, I really like the little paddle shifters on the side of the steering wheel. They allow you to kind of stay focused on the road, but still like shift.
The Honda Talon has the DCT with the manual shift option in it. A whole new experience to drive in a sport side-by-side. So one of the neat things about the Kearney area is that not only do you have a lot of cool, tight trails that are more geared towards technical navigation, there's awesome fire roads. Drift in and out of the corners in manual mode and shifting with the paddles. It made it far more interactive and way more fun.
Obviously, it's been like on my bucket list to ride here in the summer. To me, I find Kearney a really unique place to visit. I love the scenery, to be quite honest with you. There's an ice cream shop there too.
I know that Kaley was gonna absolutely just really take on this trip and appreciate everything about it. When she gets back home, no doubt, one of the things that she's gonna do is she's gonna start posting about this trip. And she's gonna start posting the pictures, and she's gonna start talking about the experience. And I'm curious about the type of response that some of her friends are gonna have to this story. Very common for a lot of things that we do, whether we're out racing or snowmobiling, and she makes mention of this, and some of the comments that her friends make is just like, wow, I would just love to be able to do something like that. But their parents have become detached as well. And I think it's really important in today's day and age that everyone sort of reconnects with what really is meaningful in life and make sure that you're giving back to your kids. And this is an awesome way.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more. Closed captioning of Dirt Trax is sponsored by MBRP Power Sports, race-inspired performance.
What do you think, Kales?
Ready.
Pretty sweet, eh?
Yep.
Might just be a lucky day and catch some fish. Okay, about there. Yeah, release that, hold your line. Do you remember a while back when we were with Mom and Natalie and Bruce and Nat? We actually passed by here and we went swimming on the other side of this.
That was fun.
I know it was fun. Getting out like this is the best thing to do. This is really the best way, I think, to spend like a
weekend.
A weekend. All stuff, just getting away and not having to worry about everything back in the city. We got out the rods and reels. Kaley took a couple practice casts. Actually, you know what? I gotta say, she's a natural. I don't think necessarily fishing's in her future, but if she ever meets a guy that's into fishing, she's not gonna embarrass herself. So we cast away, had a great time down in the river. I could tell a really good fishing tail right now, but there being sort of video, we don't have the proof to back it up. But so we didn't really catch anything, but we did have a really good time down at the fishing hole.
I don't know where I'm going, but I don't want to know. A predictable life is not what I want. Putting one foot down, one step at a time. Let the road turn, that's just fine. People ask all the questions, the blocks you...
I think Honda's idea with living life side by side is really smart. And I think a lot of people should really follow that motto. To get out with your parents, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, whatever, whoever, it can be so much more worth your time. I know that this weekend, I had a lot of fun spending time with my dad, getting away from the city and coming out to a remote area.
Just to blend right in, to avoid big mistakes or to tally your sins, you might get...
The Honda Talon X, it climbed up no problem anywhere we needed to go, and the suspension on the Talon was really good as well, especially with the QS3 shocks that they have. It was a perfect vehicle for this trip, and I know Kaley really enjoyed it as well. What's more important is to get out and make sure that you're fulfilling everything that you need, and that's putting down that damn digital device at times and walking away and knowing that that person that left you a message is going to be there tomorrow. You don't have to reply to that email within the first 30 seconds. It's not a big deal. In the wintertime, we always pass by a really cool lookout, and we stop there all the time. You're limited in terms of how far down this embankment you can go to overlook the scene. And so I said, let's see if we can find that overlook again, and let's just check to see, you know, how different is it in the summertime. Nice.
That is really nice.
7:45. If we were back home, we'd typically be like, we might be at a soccer game, but then we'd be rushing home to get ready for work. Who knows? Maybe we stay an extra day and see where else we can sort of explore. But I mean, This is one of the perfect ways, I think, to spend some time together, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you think? Is this something you could do pretty much every day?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the life.
Yeah, it really is. Kaley got to go fishing again. She hasn't been fishing in a number of years. We saw a spectacular sunset. We saw moose. We saw 3 moose on this trip. And Kaley had never seen a moose before. And so, I mean, therein lies just another great opportunity in terms of why you need to sort of get out and explore.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Shock Strap. Start strapped, stay strapped.
There's no debating that exhaust modifications are hugely popular to the side-by-side buyer. And with the turbo models taking so much of the attention from most of the exhaust manufacturers, MBRP is going in a different direction and appealing to a much wider range of ATV and side-by-side buyers. And when it comes to the side-by-side market, the Maverick has made huge headway in the industry. From the well-known X3 Turbo and Turbo R models to the narrower 50-inch Maverick Trail, and now the Maverick Sport, there's a flavor of Maverick for every rider. And today we're looking at the Maverick Sport and the offerings from MBRP for this incredible 60-inch wide side-by-side lineup. So Jared, today we have a Maverick Sport XXC with us. Just outside we have a Maverick Sport XMR, and I wanted to find out exactly what you guys over at MBRP are bringing to the table for Maverick Sport owners of all the different variations that they make. Yeah, well, we're offering 2 different kind of styles, obviously. Now, same muffler design, but 2 different exit points and everything too. So, kind of catering to budget conscious, or I guess more of a style with a carbon fiber tip and everything too, but has a really good deep performance sound. So really you're making 2 different products that really kind of tailor to more aesthetics as opposed to there being really a big differentiation between the performance of each exhaust. So as you can see, there is a little bit more of an automotive flavor to these systems. We've done a lot of testing and everything too, and really found, trying to offer 2 different exit points as well as, a price point. You're still getting the same performance, but those are really the 2 factors that we're going for here. Now, with all of this said, you guys aren't cheaping out on material. Both of these exhausts use 304 stainless that's untreated, so you can polish it right back to a mirror finish no matter how long down the road it goes. And then on top of that, they come with the spark arresters, and they're an easy bolt-on with guaranteed fitment. Yep, absolutely. And it's that guaranteed fitment that always catches my attention, because I put on a lot of parts on a lot of different vehicles, and I'll tell you, universal fit can mean the need for an engineering degree. So I really appreciate the fact that these pipes are jig built, quality inspected for fitment every time. So the biggest difference between the 2 pipes is actually the location and the exit of these exhausts, but the Performance Series comes with a cool carbon fiber tip, and then correct me if I'm wrong, both of them still flow 15% more airflow than stock, and both of them deliver a true 1 horsepower to the rear wheels. Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, another 15% in flow. So we utilize actually the same muffler for both applications, but again, comes back to that exit point. For a guy that's looking for a little bit more style or a custom look, we actually integrated this carbon tip from our Euro kits, actually the Subaru WRX or the Audi S3. So that's kind of where this design kind of came in. Cool. And then for a little bit more price conscious guy, we have a side exit as well. But again, spark arrestor does come included it, and then dyno tested. It's a 1 horsepower gain. It's a true 1 horsepower gain at the wheel. I'm not going to tell you it's 5 or 10. That's a real number. Okay, so let me talk about weight. I know on the snowmobile side of your business and our business, weight savings are huge, but when it comes to a side-by-side, it never hurts to lose some pounds, and these exhausts do a whole lot of that. Definitely, yeah. You'll notice when you remove the stock exhaust, it weighs a lot. Actually by 8 to 9 pounds, you'll actually save by installing either one of these systems. Second to that, after installing one of these, it's a lot higher flow muffler, so you'll really notice a decrease in the exhaust temperatures, and the space behind your, the rider and everything too is actually going to be a lot cooler with a better airflow. And that's hugely important on a side-by-side, just because they do build a lot of heat in the rear of the vehicle. Absolutely, and then you definitely know the climates and everything these ride in. They're not exactly driving them in the winter, so getting rid of excess heat is all the better. Okay, so Jared, the question on everyone's mind when it comes to an exhaust system is always the sound. How much work goes into getting the right sound from these exhausts, and did you guys get what you would expect? Yeah, we definitely got what we expect, but I mean, not with a lot of work and heavy lifting behind that work. To kind of talk a little bit about the muffler design, it's not actually a straight through design. There is a bit of a chamber in there, so it makes the sound a little damper, but it has that deep, sound that MBRP is known for in the snowmobile and automotive world as well.
You know, so we went through about 5 to 7 different alterations. We tried our 5-inch round kit, and we tried a couple other 4-inch designs, and just found that they're too loud. You know, there is a lot of side-by-sides out there nowadays that are very loud, and you want something you can enjoy with, you know, your family or your group of buddies, and you kind of don't really want to be that guy. So took a lot of that into our consideration when we built this, and feel that we're really happy with the final product.
Cool, so it's got that hallmark MBRP growl, but it's not going to be obnoxious.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, I guess there's not a whole lot more left to do here except get these things on and take it out on the trail to do some real testing. As always, we're really glad to have you here with us and give us a better appreciation of what goes into an MBRP exhaust.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me here and look forward to install it and see what everybody thinks.
Cool.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Argo. Go anywhere.
Just because people have different opinions than I do doesn't mean we all can't get along. This is something I've been pondering more since I started riding Honda's new Foreman Rubicon 520. I can't deny that the new Rubicon is a great ATV, despite it not having features I prefer or certain specifications I deem mandatory. The reason I can still like this ATV is, I mean, let's be honest, it does still have a long list of things that I prefer, but more so, some of the things that I'm not looking for are the exact same things other people are. What's the new 2020 Foreman Rubicon 520 all about? Is it better than the 2019 500, and if so, why? Let's start with the chassis and suspension, and we'll save the engine for last. Chassis-wise, the 2020 Rubicon is basically unchanged from the 2019 model. AA arms offer up 7.3 inches of travel up front and 8.5 inches of travel out back, and they both combine to give you 9.4 inches of total ground clearance. The shocks are basic gas-charged preload adjustable units that are valved relatively soft and provide a good ride at normal trail speeds. All in all, the suspension setup on the Rubicon definitely borders on having just barely enough of everything, yet still manages to outperform my expectations time and time again. Honda's latest version of their EPS power steering system gets an increase in assist, which translates into a decrease in feedback through the handlebars to the rider. This makes the Rubicon 520 relatively easy and comfortable to ride. Right out of the gate, you can tell the Foreman 520 got an increase in displacement because it's now called a 520 and not a 500, and that is called science. The actual increase is 43 cc's to a new total of 518, which is interesting if you think about it, because in case you were unaware, the old Rubicon 500 was actually a 475, so the 520 name is now more accurate than it was before. Along with the additional cc's comes new engine mapping, and these two things are designed to combine to give you more power and torque at low to mid RPM ranges. Does it actually feel like the Rubicon 520 has more power down low? Yes, it does, but it's not a massive increase. You gotta remember that the 500 Rubicon only produced 27 horsepower. Even being optimistic, it's not likely that this new 520 makes more than 30, maybe 32 max. This is one thing about the Rubicon 520 that I personally wouldn't be able to live with, because no matter how you look at it, it's underpowered. But many people who buy Rubicons aren't as concerned about horsepower as I am. In fact, most Rubicon buyers would put horsepower way further down the list of important buying criteria than I ever would, which means that while 30 horsepower wouldn't cut it for me, it's not a problem at all for others, and I can accept that. For 2020, Honda's DCT transmission also gets a bit of an update. It now monitors RPM all the way through the shift instead of just before the shift for overall smoother shifting operation. It also gets an all-new reverse actuation system that requires only one hand to operate and allows you to shift into reverse without selecting neutral first. The last new feature this DCT transmission gets for 2020 is the shift override system. This function allows you to manually override the automatic shifting parameters at any time while riding. So if you want to upshift sooner than the auto programming does, just push the up button. If you want to downshift early to take advantage of increased engine braking at higher RPM, simply push the downshift button. This is truly a great feature that makes the DCT transmission so much more usable and flexible. The final list of updates the Rubicon gets for 2020 includes a new rack system that takes advantage of Honda's Pro Connect accessory integration, an updated and restyled third headlight, updated front brush guard with integrated winch mount, and a 1.9-liter rider-accessible storage bin under the front rack. The Rubicon we have here is the deluxe version, and you can tell because it has aluminum wheels wrapped in Maxxis tires, painted suspension components, and this gorgeous matte finish green painted plastic, but it doesn't actually say deluxe on it anywhere, which I think is a little bit weird. Honda's done a great job giving both current Rubicon owners and all ATV buyers shopping in the 500 class a real reason to take a look at the 2020 Rubicon 520. The updates aren't just fluff. They're legitimate improvements that make the Rubicon 520 a better ATV for any user and any purpose. And while things like the DCT transmission and the lower horsepower wouldn't necessarily suit me personally, they certainly don't mean that this isn't a great ATV. For any buyer out there looking for a top quality, dead reliable, good performing vehicle with a geared transmission that also rides and handles well, I honestly can't think of a better option than Honda's new Foreman Rubicon 520.
Dirt Trax has been sponsored by Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. Can-Am, we're built for this. And by Hercules Tire, ride on our strength.
Thanks for watching Dirt Trax TV. If you liked this video, make sure you click the like button and leave us a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you turn that bell on so you get notifications whenever we upload new content. Speaking of new content, click on the links on the screen for all of the new stuff that we upload every week. And most importantly, make sure you get out and ride.